Hey YouTube, this is Rachel. Just stopping in today uh, to say here we go again. All I have to say about this latest development is mm, mm, mm. So with that being said, just take a look and I'll be right back at you in a second. All right now.
We are interrupting this program to bring you breaking news this morning on the trial of Officer Edward Nero.
It appears that Judge Barry Williams has ruled that Officer Nero is not guilty on all 4 of the misdemeanor charges that he faced in connection with the arrest and subsequent death of Freddie Gray in police custody.
Brendan McNamara is standing live outside the courthouse for us. Brendan, what can you tell us?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, we just got word from inside the courthouse. Nero not guilty on all 4 charges. That is that second-degree assault charge, the reckless endangerment charge, as well as the misconduct in office charge, all relating to the arrest of Freddie Gray last April. Word just came just not even a minute ago, and you already see that several of the protesters and media that have been waiting here for hours have just converged, started chanting as well. So we are waiting to hear just how many protesters are going to show up. This literally just broke less than a minute ago, about a minute ago now. What's going to happen next is our Brian Kubler is inside the courtroom right now. The Judge Barry Williams just read the decision aloud, so everybody literally just heard this. They're now running out of the courtroom to come join us. Brian's going to be with us live, and we are going to talk to him on the air and ask him just what happened in there. Everything from the reasoning behind the charges, the not guilty verdicts, as well as the reaction from inside the courtroom. This has been building up for weeks now, and people have been waiting for weeks just to hear what's going to happen here. This is the first set of verdicts that we have received in the Freddie Gray trials. Of course, William Porter's trial ended in a mistrial and a hung jury. This time was a lot different.
Okay, so after watching this, I really don't know what to say. As a parent, as a mother of a young black male, things like this just worry me. I don't know what the initial reason was for, that the officers, what was the initial contact, what precipitated it, I don't know. But what I do know is that because of that initial contact, this young man is dead. I wonder what happened in the back of that van. Because they said that there weren't any injuries to his body. I guess like lumps or bumps or whatever. That's what the coroner said. When I think about cases like this, as I said, it worries me. I have a son that, he's a young man. He's been pulled over a couple times. We live on the edge of a very prominent suburb in the city where I live, and he's had his moments, even to the point of one time he worked at a strip mall not far from where we live, and he was about 27 years old at the time, and he kept getting all of these tickets. And one day he showed me a pile of tickets, and I, being the mother that I am, I asked him, I said, well, what are you doing? Do you have insurance? Is your license straight? Blah, blah, blah. He says, Mom, when I come out of my job, he said every night, because he got off like at midnight, he had a second job at a restaurant here, a local restaurant, and he would get off at that job, you know, around midnight. He said he would pull out the parking lot, and he would always notice that it was a police car parked across from where he worked. And he said that right across the street there was a gas station, and he would, you know, go over there, get him some snacks before he went in. And he said that inevitably, maybe once or twice a week, they would pull him over. And this is the part that scared me. He told me that that one time when they pulled him over, they made him get out the van. He had a little, I call it his Scooby-Doo van, because the van was hideous, but he loved it. So they made him get out of his van. He told me that they handcuffed him and made him sit on the curb. He said that they searched his van, and he had his iPad sitting on the front seat. He said they threw that on the ground, and luckily they didn't break it because he had a case. But he said after they searched his van, I guess they ran his, you know, record or whatever they do when they check to see if you know, you have any outstanding warrants, and he did not. He said that they roughed him up a little bit, and he didn't explain what roughed up meant, because I'm his mom, and he didn't want to upset me any further than what I already was. So what happened is, with those tickets and me fussing at him, he eventually, I guess after one particular event that he won't tell me about, he eventually asked me would I pick him up for work at night. So, you know, I was like, what do you mean? And he says, Mom, here's what I'll do. I'll drive to your house, leave my van there, and you can take me to work. And then when you pick me up at midnight, you know, we'll go back to your house, I'll grab my van, and then I'll go home. And when we did this for a couple of weeks, because he eventually found another job, and then one of the times that I was driving him home from work, I asked him, why do you need me to do this? And he said that he was afraid, because it was the same two officers, that one of these times when they, I guess, pulled him over and harassed him, that it would escalate into something where he did not walk away from. And he told me that he only had a couple more weeks to work at this job, and, you know, would I just bear with him until he got the other job? Well, we did that for a couple weeks, and sure enough, he left there. But the reason why I bring that up is because, like I said, as a mother, you always worry. You don't know what to tell your son. You don't know how to protect them when they go out in the world, especially when they're adults and they're moving around in the world. So what I just tell him is just keep all interactions with the police at a minimum. Make sure your license is straight. Make sure your insurance is good. He doesn't have a record, so, you know, or, you know, any encounters with the police, so that's not going to be a problem. But when I think about this Freddy Gray, I wonder what was going through that young man's head. So I will always come from a place of, I'm a mother, so my heart goes out to him. I mean, I don't know what he did. I don't know if he was engaged in some criminal activity when they first came upon him. But whatever he was doing, let the courts handle it. He should not have gotten in that van alive and then be removed half dead, end up in the hospital with all kinds of tubes and things attached to him. I just, like I said, this thing where they think that, and I say they, the general feeling in the United States is most black men are thugs that come from the ghetto. that they never, all of them grew up in a terrible, violent environment, and that they're all up to no good. I look at my nephews and my son, and none of them have records. All of them were raised in decent homes. We're not rich, but as I mentioned in a previous video, we're considered middle class, just working Americans. Our sons, we raised them the best we could. We love our kids just like they love theirs. It's just, I don't know. I even think about, like, when I'm at work, and some of the offices that I work in, they are predominantly white. And I'm friends with them, and sometimes we'll sit around and shoot the breeze about our kids and some of the things that, funny things that our kids get into, and we'll tell stories about, not so funny things, times when they got in trouble. And what I noticed is that in this one situation in particular, there was a lady that I work with that told me a story about when her son was about 17, how they kind of live in the country, and or I'll say on the outskirts of the city. And I guess he was coming home from somewhere driving, and he was speeding, and he hit a car and totaled the car, the other car. And now the other people weren't seriously hurt, but she was bragging like how they were able to find this attorney that basically got her son off, and also got his record expunged. I don't know, how you do that, and but I was sitting there thinking, whether you got it expunged or not, the fact of the matter is he hit those people, he totaled their car. It is what it is. A lot of times when their kids get in trouble, when they are smoking weed or just things that I guess some young people do, they don't see their children as thugs, but our sons are. My son has never hit anyone and totaled their car. Her son smoked marijuana. They'll just say, oh yes, he smokes a little grass. But with our sons, it's always a case where they believe that, something is different with our sons, that it's some animalistic thing motivating them, and they're no good. But with their sons, there's always a reason, an excuse. Oh, he was upset. And I don't say that to excuse, any behavior of young black males, but their children are not beyond doing things. You look at the young man that went into that church and shot up all those people. The first thing they started doing is digging to see if he had a troubled life, and they don't even give our sons that benefit, that consideration to see what motivated them if they're involved in any type of criminal activity. As far as Freddie Gray, I just feel sorry for him. I know he was in his 20s and he didn't get a chance to live this life that God gave him. He died horribly, if you ask me, in pain. It's just sad. I pray for all of these moms of these children, these young men that have been killed. We had a situation here in Ohio where the guy that was walking through the Walmart, he was, had the gun, that little rifle that he picked up in Walmart. Some white guy called the police and said that he was pointing that gun at folks in Walmart, and he was not. Those police rushed in there, and shot first and asked questions later. Now remember, Ohio is an open carry state, so I mean they didn't even give him a chance. They didn't have any conversation. And I don't know if you guys realize that when they shot him, there was a lady that was in the aisle with him that witnessed it, and she had a heart attack and died. The trauma of standing there and the stress of seeing that young man shot to death and blood all over everywhere caused this woman to have a heart attack and die. We are people too. We have feelings too. And when I say we, I mean us as black people. We love our children just like they do. We love them. We know that they're not perfect, but what we ask is, can they be given a chance? Can you see beyond that skin color? Can you see beyond those incorrect, what do I want to say here? They have a certain perception of who we are. Can they see past that? You know, like every black woman is snapping her neck and, rolling her neck and smacking her lips. I'm not that kind of girl. I've never have been. I was raised in a home where you acted like a lady. You carried yourself like a lady. I worry for my sons and again my nephews. And every time my son leaves the house or he comes to visit me, when he gets ready to leave and he gives me his hug and the I love you, Mom, the last thing that I say to him is be careful out there. Make sure you're not talking on your cell phone. Don't have your music blasting. I say it so much that now when he leaves, I'll start to say it, and I say it so much that he actually starts to repeat it with me. I know, make sure you blah, 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 blah. And, we just laugh, but I'll tell him, you know why I'm telling you that? I love you. And he says, I know, Mom. He, even at this point, is like, it's almost like he's terrified. Even though he's 29 years old, it's almost like he's terrified of any interactions with the police. I'll give you another example. The other night, he was on his way over and he was getting off the highway, and he called me and he said, Mom, I'm going to be exiting the highway in a minute. Is there anything you want me to pick up from the store for you? So I tell him, are you talking on the phone while you're driving? He was like, Mom. But while I was saying that, he said, hold on. And I said, what is it? He said, there's some cops behind me. And then I was like, oh my God, Scott. And then he was like, just hold on, Mom, hold on. And then it was quiet. And then I could hear him breathing. And I said, Scott, are you okay? Are they pulling you over? And he's like, it was real quiet. And then I hear the phone fumble, and then he picks it back up and he tells me what it was is that they had their sirens on, like not the sound, but you know how they can make the lights flash. And what they did is they zoomed around him and they went to the car ahead of him. And it scared him so much that I guess he wanted to be ready if it was that they were coming after him. So this cop being, acquitted today by the judge, there was no jury. I mean, we knew this, didn't we? We knew it. There's another one whose trial, another one of those cops whose trial is coming up, and trust me, he's gonna get off too. I don't know why I let this upset me. I just don't know. I don't know why. Because I know what it's gonna be. I know. I just say I pray for Freddy Gray's family. I hope God helps them get through all of these trials, because each trial and each time one of these officers gets off or there's a hung jury, for them, the pain is anew. So far they've had 2 trials. 2 times that scab of what happened to their loved one is torn off and it has to heal again. So today, this Officer Edward Nero, was acquitted. I mean, he's not going to serve any time. It's over. Not guilty. And with that, I just want you guys to think about why we were having this trial. What was lost here? Why it's important for us to continue fighting for our rights here in America and to be treated fairly, to be given, you know, at least a chance. Because what happened in the back of that van, it shouldn't have happened. So with that, I'm going to get out of here, but I want you guys to remember, you know, why these trials are going through. There was a person that died, that lost his life. He had an encounter with these Baltimore police, and it ended in him eventually dying. So with that, I just wanted to basically, you know, just let you see one more time, you know, why I'm sad today. I'm sad for that family. So I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a great day. And keep your son safe. Keep your daughter safe. You stay safe. And let's stick together when it comes to things like this. Don't let them paint our whole race as just terrible people. Stick with our men. As women, we gotta support our fellas. We gotta, because you know the world is against them, and we know it. They say that we're being paranoid, but you guys know that's true. Again, have a great day. Thanks for watching the video.
Right. Right. His leg look broke. Look at his leg. Look at his leg. That boy leg look broke. His leg broke and y'all dragging him like that. Right. Right. His leg look broke. Look at his leg. Look at his leg. That boy leg look broke. His leg broke and y'all dragging him like that.
The reason why bike cops stopped the fleeing individual that you say right now there's no evidence Gray was tased. His godbrother